Hey, this is Caitlin, known as the YouTube star Professor Cygnus and Angels. And remember, fam, subscribe if you want to be a part of the family foundation of the channel. And also, when it comes to the importance of historical ancient documents that were found thousands and thousands of years ago, we want to understand those documents more and about religion. How many established religions are there in this world? A lot, okay? So we're going to be speaking about also many of those religions are lost in history, and there is an importance in understanding when you ever learn about ancient historical documents, whether if that's Hebrew, whether if that's Greek, or whatsoever language, you want to understand that BCE, if you ever see a document that was found in the BCE times, from the BCE times, that was written in the BCE times. BCE means before Common Era. Can you say that with me? BCE means before Common Era. It is important to note that BCE counts backwards. So the bigger the number is, the further back that is. BC means before Christ. BC and BCE also counts backwards. Can you say this with me? BC means before Christ. Sometimes you will see AD, meaning after death, after Christ. So now we have the CE, meaning Common Era. Can you say that with me? CE means Common Era. And here is the thing. As BCE, BC, and AD count backwards, CE counts forward. We are in the Common Era time. That is why we count the years forward and not backwards. So we will be reviewing the importance of understanding the first established religions. And not only understanding the established religions, but when that was written, when everything was established. And so we'll go over the different types of religion. There is number one, polytheism. Polytheism is the belief of many gods, while monotheism means the belief in only one God. Non-theistic means that they do not believe in gods or God. And you will learn that there is religions of all into which was stated. What is the most common religions founded from the further back times? You will find that out very soon. And starting with the Sumerian cuneiform. The Sumerian cuneiform is the oldest religion in history, dating back from 32,000 BCE through 2000 BC. There is 130,000 tablets. Wow. That's actually more than any other religion system as far as the books of the tablets into which was found. They were polytheistic. The documents consisted of tradition, songs, wise sayings, historical documents, many stories, and living circumstances. The Sumerian cuneiform also included different non-human species creatures and all kinds of things about the cosmos. They believed that everything that happened to them, good and bad, was a result of the heavens' pleasure or displeasure. The goal of the Sumerian cuneiform religion was to please the heavens. The next religion that was founded, and this is organized from the further back to the newest times. The Kesh Temple Hum is next, and that also is the Sumerian religion. They also was polytheistic, and this was founded in 2600 BCE. There are 8 sections of the Kesh Temple Hum. The Hums invite people to visit the temple. The Epic of Gilgamesh is next. They were polytheistic, but yet that is almost the exact story of the story of Noah. The only difference is the Epic of Gilgamesh was polytheistic and not monotheistic. 2150 BCE was when the Epic of Gilgamesh was written. Documents include tradition, wise sayings, and stories. Hinduism is the next founded documents of religion. And Hinduism was founded in 1900 BCE from 1400 BCE. There are 10 books of ancient writings. There are 4 primary books, over 329 male writers, and 27 female writers of those books. Wow. Documents consisted of traditions, songs, wise sayings, living circumstances, many stories, history, and more. Hinduism believes that life is sacred, to be loved and revered. Non-aggressive and non-injury. They believe in the Dharma, which is the code of living. Their religion goal is to live without sin and the moksha, to end rebirth and to become one soul. Very good. The next established religion is the Pentateuch. But this was not an established religion, and we'll tell you why. This document was founded in 900 through 800 BCE. So this was after the other religions were established. And this is important to note. Many people say that this was from the book of the Bible. See, back in the day, they could travel all around the world. There's proof of this when they found Greek coins in another country. Not only that, but they would get documents of their scrolls. And sometimes they would translate, change things that they wanted, and turn that into other stories. In the Pentateuch, they clearly state Elohim, meaning they or gods. But then later on in translation, they changed the polytheism to become monotheism. There are 5 books in Hebrew, which is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The Hebrews were polytheistic until they developed Judaism, meaning the belief in one God. After the time of Moses, protecting and saving the Hebrew people, to which God they called Yahweh. The ancient documents consisted of tradition, songs, wise sayings, living circumstances, so many stories, history, and the future. How to live. The religious goal is how to live as the redeemed people of Yahweh, which is who they now translate as God. The next founded document in history is the Book of Job, which is what they now translate to Job. The Book of Job, which was written in 600 BCE. There were 2 books and 2 writers, aka the Book of Job. They were polytheistic, utilizing Elohim, meaning multiple gods or deities, yet altered in translating, stating one God instead of multiple. The Book of Job, Job, consisted of stories, traditions, wise sayings, historical documents, and living situations. But remember that the Hebrews were polytheistic until what happened in the time of Moses. Then they turned to Judaism. But instead of writing Yahweh from then on, they utilized Elohim, meaning they, or plural. Buddhism was founded next in 600 through 500 BCE. There were 32 entire books. There were about 100 plus writers. Buddhism is non-theistic, meaning that they do not believe in gods, they do not believe in God, they just believe in wise teachings. Which is who the Buddha is. The Buddha is not worshipped, but the Buddha is just looked at like a good teacher. The goal of the religion is nirvana, a state of freedom, to purify one's heart, a state of freedom from suffering and rebirth, to end the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, known as samsara. They believe in strengthening the mind to have a better life and practice good deeds, not to do any evil, to cultivate good, and to purify one's heart. Documents include tradition, music, wise sayings, stories, living circumstances, and history. They were non-theistic, unlike the Hinduism of polytheistic. Taoism is the next religion in history, written in the 500 BCE times. There were 2 books and 2 authors. They were non-theistic, meaning that they did not believe in gods or God. Instead, they believed in letting the flow of life get things done, and that all things should live in balance with the Tao, or universe. Tao, or some call Tao, means the natural way of the universe. The concept of the yin and yang represents balance of opposing forces and unity. The documents consist of many poems, wise words, traditions, and stories. They consider the Taoism canon as a separate religion of the Taoism. The reason why is because the Taoism canon is polytheistic, while the Taoism, when first established, is non-theistic. The Taoism canon was found after. And now going into the Qumran Cave Scrolls, which is also known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. This was written in 100 BCE through 200 BC. They were polytheistic, then translated and altered to monotheistic. This was confirmed by historians. The historian video will be in the link below. That they would change the word from they or gods to one God. But they mostly said that God was three, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But when they utilized the term Elohim, they were obviously referring to multiple deities. Providing insight and documents of some of the things into which is in the Bible. Historians tend to point out the difference of translation of gods, plural, when they say they, and when they write Yahweh, which is very different. Elohim is not the same as Yahweh, and they are not even similar in writing. Documents include tradition, stories, songs, wise saying, history, and living circumstances. Polytheism later became Judaism, but yet the religion was not yet established around that time. All of the books of the Bible were very separate, and the Bible did not get established until later on, and you all will find that out very soon. As seen in the book of Job and the Pentateuch, polytheism later became Judaism because the Hebrews later established Judaism in the time of Moses. The goal of their religion is to follow the law of Moses and prepare for the coming of the Messiah figure. The scrolls reveal tension between personal holiness and faith and knowledge for salvation. Next in history, we have the Egyptian text. From 2686 BC through 2181 BC. They were polytheistic, that they control forces of nature. They believed that the heavens controlled the forces of nature and the entire world. Their goal was to please the heavens, to please the gods. And now next in history, we finally have the Bible, which was established from 1400 BC through 100 CE, so Common Era. More than 40 writers overall in a 1,500-year course. From many translation and altered stories of 66 different books from different times and different places. The Catholic Council in Rome had decided to have an idea to gather all of the scrolls and books and documents and to alter or change the books and documents to combine the book as one instead of separates. The Bible proclaims monotheism, while historian translates the original documents as they of Elohim in original documents, with the ability to read and write in multiple languages. And that will be in the description below. The Bible highlights the bond between God, the Creator, and the people, seeing the Spirit as a bond also. They combine separates as one, seeing God as the Creator, the Spirit, and the human. So seemingly different, also seeing God as the Spirit. The Bible believes in judgment not to sin, yet also seeing the body as a sinner from birth, and that Jesus is the only perfect one, and that we have no chance at all to be perfect. The Bible documents includes that Lucifer owns the world until Jesus comes, and thus their goal is to prepare for the Messiah and to follow by the law of Moses. The documents include tradition, songs, stories, wise words, living circumstances, history, and lifestyle. Very good. And remember, BCE means before Common Era. The further back the number is the older that the document of history is. Because BCE counts backwards. BC means before Christ. AD means after death. BC is after BCE and also counts backwards. CE means Common Era. So always remember that when you do your historical documents. And this was the episode about the documents into which was bound and how they did have an entire system. The entire planet did communicate back then. They was able to get scrolls and books from each other, translate, and so much more. They had a very civilized way of living. And this is the episode about the oldest religions to the later on established religions. Stay healthy and invest wisely, and also the original documents into which was written and the time into which that was written as well. Stay healthy and invest wisely, and remember that our life matters and we can make a very big difference. Stay healthy. See you all soon.